You're listening to the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sewell Time, and you're listening to the Paracasual Destiny Podcast, episode 33. And I'm here with Sally Bug. Sally Bug, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. And we also have Green Stego. Stego, are you here?
Hello, yes, I am here.
You're sounding loud and clear. And last but not least, Romance Girl. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yes, I can.
Excellent. So has everybody had at least cup one of their coffee this morning?
Cup one is done.
Yes.
And maybe we can
Cup one in the books.
Yeah, we've been struggling a little bit with our streaming key in OBS this morning, meaning we weren't live for our first few attempts. And I think we've got it squared away now. If somebody could verify that. Is it looking like?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It's looking like we're live.
All right. Finally, we are live.
Streaming for 74 seconds.
Wow, that's the longest we've ever streamed.
This morning, yes.
Yeah. It's a special day in Destiny tradition. It is World's First Day today, May 22nd. And so I think
For the Vault of Glass.
For the Vault of Glass, yes. Yeah, the relaunch of the Vault of Glass. And so I think we are going to be looking forward to that. I know we're planning on tuning in, at least for some of it, this afternoon. To see what's going on. So let's get through the podcast then so we can get back to it. Full disclosure, I haven't played much Destiny this past week. I got on a little bit this morning before the podcast just to catch up a little bit and experience the override mission on the moon and a little bit of dip my toes in Iron Banner. One game where I was completely under light leveled and just getting owned by all the trials weapons. And the second game, people along my level. It was pretty even keeled and more fun, of course.
Yeah, I wish there were more like that. I have not done Iron Banner at all this week.
Mm-hmm.
Busy week, exhausting week.
Mm-hmm.
We're gearing up to conferences next week, so conference reports and all of that are being written, and
a lot going on in the real life world. Yeah. But it is a new season since we last spoke, right? It's the
absolutely.
It's the new season start.
Season of the Splicer.
I gotta say, my impressions so far are very high on the charts in terms of what's intended and the season and the storyline and the weapons and the armor and just the whole sort of feel of it is very good. And I'm trying to stay positive. I know there's a lot of bugs and a lot of. It was a rocky launch. There were a lot of people who couldn't get on for like the first 24 hours. That seems to be ironed out. But a few other little weird things along the way. Some strange. Yeah, like I said, so there's some bugs, but also some strangeness about some decisions to nerf rewards in the Deep Stone Crypt, which I haven't really gotten my head around.
You're just kind of giving like a summary of what our podcast is going to be like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going because I want to get to the world's first. So that's it, folks. Thank you.
That's it, folks.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have a good
This has been episode 33.
I'm actually, just to be on the record, not bothered by the Deep Stone Crypt rewards.
Yeah, not everybody's going to be bothered by it, depending on what your play style is or what your sensibility is to gain rewards.
It is on our list of things to talk about. How about we kind of?
Well, your kiss is on my list.
I'm gonna say, can we just start with our
Impressions?
show
Yeah,
notes
let's do a
and
round
go
robin
down
of
and go
impressions
down?
of the first mission and the override of that week 1. Sally Bug?
Yeah, well, there's a lot that I love about this. I love the story. I love the story. The narrative team has just been hitting it out of the park, like basically between last season
Facts.
and this season. Some people have complained a little bit about it not being like
Me?
completely like it was like an abrupt ending and then a starting of a new season, and there wasn't like a full on like easy connection between the two. But that doesn't bother me. It's almost like for instance reading a book like Game of Thrones, where you're looking at what's going on in this part of the story, but then there's also another part of the story that's happening simultaneously. Or
Yeah, and
or
for
just
those reading the
moving
lore
on.
books, they do, Kaitel's still around.
Yeah, Keitel is still having, and Crow is
So it's
also,
just, and,
if you're reading
and I
the
think that's
lore.
I agree. I think that's too high of an expectation for every
Right.
story to blend seamlessly to the next one. It's more like
And
chapters in a book.
Right. And I don't, it for me, it doesn't bother me. I feel like there are tie-ins if you look for them and you find them in the lore. So, and in addition to the narrative being amazing and the story being amazing, I also love the aesthetic. We talked about that before it even started. The color palette is amazing. Just the visual, because it feels different. It feels different and new, yet familiar because it's Destiny 2. But the aesthetic of the override missions, and so forth, I'm loving that as well.
Exciting and new.
The thing that, and this is probably kind of minor for me. It's kind of minor, and I haven't done enough override I feel like I haven't done, and I think I've done like maybe 5 or 6 missions. I just did the new one this morning. So kind of the first time I got on this week, from the new part of the story. But my one minor criticism is that the 6-man match made, I feel like I'm getting pulled through a lot. That I'm getting in with Blueberries and with other players who have done this several times and know what they're doing, and so they're just kind of racing to the boss and so forth. And I feel like I'm like constantly in this. I'm 1 or 2 steps behind. In like by the time I go to shoot my gun at like one of the oracles, for instance, it's gone. By the time I would jump up on one platform to get to the next part in the override mission, it was already done. By the time I jump in a portal, somebody's already jumped in the portal and come back out. By the time I start the jumping puzzle part to get to the boss room, I'm being pulled through. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah, at least you'll get that triumph really quick.
My suggestion would be just to focus on ad clear if you're not that savvy with the the mechanic heavy part of it.
It's not that I'm not savvy with it. It's that I'm not able to learn it because other people are doing it quickly.
Yeah.
Doing it prior to me. What I'd like to do, and I'm hoping that we have enough clan mates, I'd like to do it with a full-on clan, because then you have the ability to say, hey, can I go through the portal? I want to see what's going on out there. I want to like be able to.
Well, there's multiple chances to go through the portal.
Yeah. I mean, we have.
Yeah.
We can do that.
But I'm down to do it with 6 players.
We got time to do that. Yeah.
That could be fun.
and
I'll bet there's some triumphs that you could get.
I would say
doing
that I have the same experience where I'm getting pulled through the activity a lot, but I think I have seen that as a huge positive to my playing. Right. Not a negative, because
some people, it's like, yeah, they've got no problem with it whatsoever. For me, it's like there's certain times when I'm doing it and I don't mind getting pulled through it all. It's like, oh, good, I want to get to the boss, I want to get to this next section. But there's other times where, man, I kind of wanted to learn what this jumping puzzle was, or just appreciate the environment and not get pulled through.
Have you tried Sallybug? Have you tried?
Well, that is
Let him say it. We know what he's going to say.
I was just going to say, have you tried playing it like 2 a.m?
I don't think that would make it.
I don't think it would make a difference.
I was just going to say that's the first time I've heard Sallybug say, I want to do the jumping puzzle and not get pulled through.
Yes.
Because usually she's begging.
This is true.
The fire team
times
to get pulled through.
I want the ability to, I at least want I want it to be the control in my hands, right? It's like, and when we do a race,
I will say also,
go ahead and pull us through. I don't want to do this anymore. But in this situation, it's like, it's just because of the match made activity. But it's fun. I mean, outside of that, I find it very fun. It's just, I like to do it with a bunch of clanmates so I can, maybe slow it down a little bit and experience it and understand fully the mechanic, because that way if I go in with blueberries, it's like, okay, I know what's going on now here, and I can feel like I can participate a little more.
Yeah, I will quickly say that the mechanics you're missing out on aren't like that big, because they know it's a match-made activity, so they're very simple mechanics. They don't throw in very
so far there's nothing like menagerie.
Yeah.
Right.
For better or for worse.
I mean, but in terms of say, the part where you have to shoot the oracles and then the other part where you have to jump up, it'd be nice to experience that and do part of that, right? And
I know, just saying from someone who has experienced that, it's not that.
I know it's not a big deal and all of that. It's just,
Stego, what are your impressions overall of the override activity so far?
The override activity, I haven't done it on the moon. I don't know how the moon is different from Europa. I will say I am enjoying it thoroughly.
Okay.
I love that it spices it up. I love that they're doing this new PvE activity.
Yeah.
It just feels like a fun, fresh thing to do.
Yeah. You know what I learned?
I recommend the moon one. I just did it this morning, and the mechanics are slightly different, and it's cool. It's fun.
I learned something, I think it might have been in a Bontus video, or Cacus. No, I think it might have been Cacus, where I forget. If you go into the portal and kill that thing in the portal, the more times you do that, the higher the chance is that you will spawn a special enemy in the boss room that drops a bunch of data thingies that you can use to upgrade the splicer.
I have never
the
seen
servitor,
that goblin.
rather. What?
Yeah, I've seen a little bits about that on the internet, but I've never seen the goblin in person.
Yeah, I haven't.
I've been through the portal a bunch of. I might have missed him though.
Right. Right. So, any impressions of the dark simulation that's taking place in the tower? How does that jibe with y'all? It being
lights?
The everlasting night. In
Dark
the tower,
everlasting.
the darkness. It's a simulation. It's not really nighttime, right? It's not really dark. It's just. It's obviously
the
a
lights
simulation.
in the tower are really flickering. And it's very spooky.
It is kind of spooky,
But yeah,
what's really cool
just blanketed the sky basically in the Vex simulation.
What I really appreciated is throughout the tower, you can see you're in a simulation, right? You can see the little horizontal
glitches,
glitches, the lines, the horizontal and vertical lines. That's pretty cool. I thought that was a really good touch. Yeah, there's a nice image of it, but it took. I'll be honest with you. When that first part of the story, when you get Mithrax back to the last city, and it took me a minute or so to realize where I was, where the area where the Alexni refugee camp is, right?
That was so cool.
That was very cool. That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
You realize you're in the.
Oh, and I loved going around and listening to all of the recording.
Right.
By Ido.
Right. That was
the
a great
lore
touch
in there
too.
was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that aspect
We've
of
got a
it.
slide of that, don't we?
I agree with Sally Bug that the story is just amazing. And think of the babies, right? How can you not want to rally for these Alexni when you see those little eyes blinking in the papoose, right? It's adorable.
I mean, going through and just hearing the story and just getting some background on the Alexni and making it in game, to make it more like where people are having an idea of like definitely getting people to be on the side of the Alexni, like knowing what their plight has been and that we want to help them.
So ready for this.
Yeah.
Good guys, Alexni.
This going this leaning towards not fighting everyone, but like forging an alliance and being around. It's really amazing. So I'm enjoying this story so much.
Well, how about the loot? Have you gotten any of the seasonal loot?
I've gotten a few things. I think I got the new sidearm. And I got the shotgun. I got a shotgun, which I think is a future War Cult shotgun that got brought back.
That makes sense.
The deicide?
Yeah, the deicide, exactly. I was actually just using it in that override mission I just did. And I got an auto rifle, which I think is a seasonal auto rifle. It's got chroma in the name, so I'm pretty sure it's a seasonal one.
Yeah, Chroma Rush.
The Chroma Rush. I was using that this morning.
The Chroma Rush. But I haven't... And I got the sidearm, not the exotic one, but the other one.
Farewell.
I'm such a fan of sidearms. I just love sidearms, and I was having a lot of fun with that one. I don't think I have any one of the weapons that I've received have I spent enough time with to have formed a huge opinion about any of them.
Has anyone used the cryosthesia yet?
I've used it. I've used that one probably the most out of any of the new weapons.
I've used it a little bit, but not.
It's a little weird for me, honestly. It's a strange feel.
I haven't quite picked up on the mechanic of it yet. I don't think I've gotten the rhythm of it. What I need to do is either go to that area that's like the entrance of the Garden of Salvation raid, that area where all the Vex show up, just by myself and just spend some time with it to just understand the rhythm of it and how to use it. Cause I don't think I'm using it just like as a regular sidearm, and that's not what its mechanic is.
It's just after you get a kill, you can it basically turns into like a mini fusion rifle that shoots a stasis bullet.
And it freezes your enemy. And
it uses up your
the loading animation lasts. I noticed the loading animation of this sidearm lasts about as long as your opponent is frozen. So you definitely have to be ready to switch or throw a grenade.
The catalyst auto reloads it.
I know. That's why I want the catalyst. That'll really make this gun shine.
We need to do.
That's why I was using cryosthesia in the Crucible just to get those.
To get the catalyst.
Crucible kills.
Yeah.
I experience an awkwardness while using the cryosthesia because there's like a slight delay between when you pull the trigger and when it
That's
fires.
What I noticed.
It's like the opposite of an air pull. Air trigger.
Yeah.
I think it fires on release of the trigger. Is that right?
That's kind of what I was saying about the rhythm. I just don't have the rhythm quite down yet.
Yeah, it's unusual. They did that on purpose.
I haven't noticed anything weird about it.
I experimented with it. I think that what it does is it fires after it is sure that you are not charging it, regardless of whether or not you have the buff.
Well, that explains
makes
it, 'cause I use the buff right away.
Yeah,
I don't hold on to it because it's on a timer.
But even if you don't have the buff, it still is like coded into the firing.
There's a delay. You're saying,
just
Stego?
Yeah,
right away.
There's a delay. It's
that's
not
what
like
I think. It was weird for me. It was a little strange. It felt weird.
Well, now that I know what that mechanic is, that makes more sense because then I can like.
Well, if you have the buff, use it. Freeze your enemies.
Yeah, have the buff, use it.
Right.
Smoke them if you got them.
And to use the buff, you just hold down the trigger more. Is that how you get it?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Like a fusion rifle full a little, right?
No, it's like the Devil's Ruin, but you can only charge the shot after you get a kill with it.
A kill. Right.
Right, and it empties out the magazine when you do the freezing shot. Couple things that while I'm thinking of it, I got the ignition code, which is the seasonal grenade launcher, really early on, and it was highlight, so of course I'm going to use my highlight weapon. So I was using that a lot in the override, that first week of override, and I really liked it. It was and I'm not a grenade launcher expert by any stretch of the imagination, but it was very usable for me, and I was killing things with it, which is, it's usually 50-50 whether I land the shot or not, and I was having fun with it. So I'm going to speak highly of the ignition code, which is the legendary grenade launcher for the season. And I just have to say, aesthetically, the designs of the weapons, I really, really like.
Yeah, out of the park.
Absolutely.
So
really, some of their best work is it's only at Destiny do you get this stuff, and it's just so cool looking. Deathbringer. Has anybody discovered the magic that is the new and improved Deathbringer?
No, not yet.
No,
it's so much fun. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I haven't fully unlocked the catalyst yet. Like I haven't finished.
It's going to be even way more fun when you get the catalyst, I think. So, and has anybody gotten the catalyst? I know Sally Bug. I know we've gotten it. We got it like
after our first override mission.
Daniel, is it strikes?
We got
strikes.
It with strikes.
We got it after our first strike we did. Yeah. So.
Because we did a lot of strikes playlists when the season dropped.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, we had to watch a video to get kind of an idea of how it works, but now that we do, I'm so happy too because it was such a beautiful gun, and I remember when it first came out, going, "This is a shame that it doesn't do that much damage," because the idea behind it and the design of it is so amazing.
Unique. It's very unique, yeah.
So it's nice that it's kind of
rocket launchers in general got a buff,
finally.
And now this catalyst just makes it one of the best DPS weapons in the game, essentially. All right, I have a question. Has anybody tried out the new armor? What is it called? I want to say transmog, but that's not what they're calling it. Armor synthesis. Armor synthesis. Has anybody done any of that yet or explored that? I've done the first mission. I've completed a first mission. I just haven't transmogged anything yet.
I did the first mission and haven't transmogged it.
Yeah, I didn't
hard to make a decision.
I haven't been to Europa
I know.
yet. She wants me to go to Europa and get something, and I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, you're protesting it, though, I think.
I'm not protesting it. It's just like it's not top priority for me. This season's gonna you have a limited number of pieces for the season anyway, and the season's going on till mid-August, so I know I have plenty of time. So I'm not focusing on.
She hasn't met the grind yet.
Yeah.
I've heard about the grind, though.
No, I actually don't think the grind's that bad. I think I don't. For me, it went by fine.
I did
the easy version.
Right, it's just hoping that between the complaint, like all the feedback and so forth, that they'll change it before the season is over.
It's a little early to say.
It's a little early. Mm-hmm.
What I have experienced with this armor synthesis system is that by the time I finish one bounty, through grinding out that bounty, I have enough of the currency from the enemy kills to purchase my next bounty.
Wow.
Oh, well, then it's a decent rhythm.
Yeah.
Well, I got the Altar of Sorrows bounty. And evidently, from what I've read and what I've seen, I was lucky because there are some they're random what you get. And some of them are very grindy. And some of them are pretty easy. This one in particular, you had to open 3 final chests. Each chest gave you 33% of the bounty. So after I opened the 3 chests, I was at about 50 on the insert one of the 20 currencies they introduced for this thing here to get the next bounty. So I was about halfway, Stego. But that's good to hear that you were already ready for another one. That's kind of cool. So it just
and we both picked up strikes, and I got finish 4 strikes and get some arc kills, and he got kill 40 champions.
Right.
About 40 champions.
Which is not equal.
So, exactly. So they're uneven. The bounties are uneven.
It's kind of, I was talking about this with time though. It's kind of typical Ada, right? Because you know how sometimes you would get those special bounties for her during the Black Armory, and some of them would just be absolutely insane, and others would just be, get 50 kills with each type of weapon. Like it would be super easy to do.
Typical Ada.
Others would just be really grindy, and it's get a certain number of kills or throw hundreds of balls at that thing during the forge runs. I don't know. I just remember some of them being there's no way I'm not going to be able to get this in the amount of time she wants me to get it done.
Right.
So it's typical Ada stuff. Typical Ada.
Well, they did that on purpose in keeping with, they made the mechanics to work around the lore that way.
Right.
Right.
But it is, I mean, I suppose if you're worried about the time crunch and all of that, I can see it being frustrating for some people. But for me, I'm taking a casual approach to it. And it's I'll dabble in it and unlock what I need to. There's nothing in my brain.
If you expected, I think if you expected unlimited free transmog in Destiny, then I think all the complaining is probably justified, right? But
it's an unfair expectation.
It's totally unfair. I mean, transmog in every other game, it's their microtransaction jam.
Not every other game, but in a lot of other games.
A lot of the other games, yeah. It's their jam for the free players to cough up some cash to look good, right? Or look how they want to look. And
exactly. And I, as a veteran player, I already have a bunch of ornaments unlocked.
Hells yeah.
So I'm not hurting for looks.
Yeah.
I
think we'll all be preaching to the choir there.
There's nothing pressing oh man, I really wish I had that armor set, or I wish I looked like that armor set because I loved that armor set so much. It's I would get kind of bored with it anyway, and I like to change it, and I kind of just like wearing what the current seasonal gear is because I'm wearing the current aesthetic.
Sure,
so I'm like,
sure.
For me, it doesn't bother me.
I will
I'm not
say
worried
this.
about
This is
it.
my big complaint.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Let's hear it.
The shaders.
Yeah.
Oh,
Full
okay.
time.
My favorite shader is on like page 10.
Yeah, it's
so if
maddening.
If I want to put my favorite shader on a weapon, for instance, it's just so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit, it's like, remember there used to be like a sort tab, and of course it was their sorting, but at least there was a sort tab, right?
Yeah,
need to
I'm
add
hoping
that.
they'll let us like tag a few favorites that can just
Yeah,
at the beginning.
either that or
would...
I'm looking at the appearance customization, the new appearance customization screen, and there's room on that to do some filtering of the shaders.
Yeah.
Up above, you could have a few icons above it.
Of your shaders, you've got like 10. Like it's a lot of pages that you can that you have to sort through. And what I do like about it, and I like this particular page that's up on our YouTube stream. You can preview it. Just put it on, take a look.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. So I totally love that aspect, and you're not putting it on, previewing it, going back. So that's great. I do wish there was a way to either tag some favorites or have some
or
kind
along
of
the
sort,
top,
or
sort by
just
season,
have
or
have the option to make your rearrange the
favorites
shaders
is probably the
you would
easiest thing they
it.
could do.
Yeah.
Favorites. Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah. So, I saw that in a Twitter feed as well. That somebody else.
A lot of people
put that.
have some go-to favorite shaders anyway. So
Sure.
Right.
I would also
you
just
learn
like
where
to
they
complain
are,
once
but to have
more.
to have to cycle through them is a little bit of a pain.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Go ahead, romance girl.
I wish there was a way to lock your ornaments.
Yeah, where if you changed your armor piece, your
ornament was
the
locked in
appearance was
place,
still locked.
or was auto applied to the next armor piece.
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
Now I'm nitpicking.
Okay,
I might be splitting hairs
I understand
here,
what
but...
she's saying.
Oh, so the ornament doesn't reset?
You've unlocked an ornament,
default?
right, that you really like, and that you want that ornament to apply to any leg.
Well, yeah, we'll just say for the look that's on the screen. If you want it, if you're like, this is the look for my guardian for now.
Oh.
Just no matter what armor pieces I switched out, it'd be nice if I could just lock the look in place.
Right.
Yeah. And
I would like a similar.
Again, the easy fix to that would be at least be able to have it as set up as a favorites, right? You could have your favorites on the top, and so then you could.
Yeah, but even then, you would have to.
You still have to go into the customization screen, but I think that. But I
was just hoping there would be a way I wouldn't have to go to the appearance screen every time I switched out.
Every time you switched your.
Again, nitpicking. I mean, I am overall happy with it.
Yeah.
The ease of the use and the customization screen is for me a total improvement, except of course, and the fact that you can apply
and shader
all to your shaders. It's the cycling through the shaders.
Yeah, the apply all is
a bit
much
cumbersome.
Needed.
It's definitely cumbersome, and I don't always know, and you don't memorize where your. It's like, where was that shader that I really liked? Is it on the third page? Where it's it's kind of hard to find.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I alluded to it in the introduction in my my take on the new season. Iron Banner is here, and I got on for the first time this morning and played a couple matches, and one was a blowout, and the other one was quite enjoyable. So as per usual. It's just random matchmaking.
Typical.
Mixed.
Yeah. But I am looking forward to doing some more. Go ahead.
Oh, we did a little bit of Iron Banner after because we jumped in to do the Deepstone Crypt with some of our clanmates.
Nice.
Earlier in the week.
Uh-huh.
And then after, we're like, let's just do an Iron Banner. And then that turned into actually a full session of Iron Banner.
Oh, nice. I didn't hear about
Were you able
this.
to get any of the bounties? Did you get any of the new weapons?
Yeah, I was like, well, let's just go to the tower, because a few of us didn't have the bounties or the quests, and I was like, well, let's just go to the tower and pick up the Iron Banner stuff, and then we'll do our celebratory match. We like to do a match of PvP after we do a raid.
That's our tradition.
Yeah.
And but since everyone already had the quests and bounties, we just kept going for a while.
Nice.
Right, Stego?
Right.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty fun. We had a full stacked fire team. We didn't win a lot.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Even with our stacked fire team.
Right.
But it's still fun, and
It's still fun.
once you can
Still fun,
communicate
yeah.
with each other, it's like, oh, let's all go to sea. Let's go to sea. Yeah.
Well, that was not happening at all. They were not talking about the game. We were playing with teenagers.
No, they were talking nonsense.
So it was just not.
It was absolute nonsense.
They were just talking casual stuff in the background while you played.
Yeah, so
That's fun, too.
It was fun overall, and we did win some. It was just win some, lose some, and we had an overall enjoyable experience, I think.
Okay, big
Did you
question.
get some bounties done?
That's my question. Did you get any weapons yet?
Bounties or weapons?
Some of the new stuff.
I didn't. Yeah, we didn't play enough to finish a bounty. I was really close to zones captured.
Okay.
And I was stuck on the quest step that was like get void or arc ability kills.
Right.
And I'm not very good at getting ability
Which is
kills.
really annoying. Yeah.
That takes a long time.
I put on shoulder charge, and so I was able to clear that step, and so I was able to get a copy of the new hand cannon, which I tried, and then immediately swapped over to a different hand.
What's the name of the hand cannon?
Finite Impactor.
Okay. What was the roll you got? Was it just wasn't, maybe it wasn't
Finite Impactor is just fine. Oh, well, have y'all seen Astacross's video with him and Les going one-on-one with it?
No.
No, I haven't seen that.
Finite Impactor versus Palindrome. It's pretty funny.
I highly recommend it to the viewers. Cross says everything that I could say about the Finite Impactor and more.
He says it's underwhelming.
Oh, Is the Reese Walker an Iron Banner? I can't remember.
It is.
Yes.
And that's
there was a bit of a bug, right? Because people thought they could get it by just turning in tokens, but they're only.
Oh, right. It's not in the token pool yet.
It's not in the token pool. You have to actually complete the bounties. They're dropping in the bounties.
They're dropping only from the quest.
They're only from the quest.
Exclusively.
Yeah, the Reese Walker.
It is bugged. It is bugged. It's not like a bit of a thing where people were mistaken. Like, it is a bug.
It's a bug.
It's supposed to be in the loot pool, and it's not.
It's not. And they
all right. So it was intended to be in the loot pool, but
it's not.
I thought they were just purposely keeping it out to have like only have access to it through the quest line first, and then open it up.
So don't turn any tokens in this time around, Sally Bug. Just do the quest.
Usually turn in tokens anyway.
It'll probably be fixed for the next Iron Banner, but this one is just there's no way that they can fix it in time.
Yeah, it's the Reese Walker shotgun and the Archon's Thunder machine gun are out of the loot pool.
Somehow is an arc element.
I don't know what
solar.
My schedule. So I know what my schedule is tonight, and I don't know if I'll be getting on too much tomorrow. So I don't know how much I'm going to play over the next reset. So I may not. Iron Banner may not be in my cards this week.
You can just catch the next one.
Yeah, and that's fine too. For me, and I said this to Soul Time as well. It's like. It's the end of the school year. I'm kind of tired. And there's a lot going on with it being the end of the school year. We've got a lot going on in our personal lives as well. And it's like I'm kind of just
done with
dabbling here and there and just waiting until the summer. And it's going to be this season's going on, like I said before, till mid-August. So I can spend a lot of time on it. Over the summer.
That goes in that home stretch too.
So I feel like I'm just dabbling with it a little bit, trying to stay up on the storyline, doing a few things, but I'll probably like go full hog or whole hog, actually. I'll go whole hog once the school year is over and I can relax a little bit. Have more downtime.
Richard's in the chat. If he's still listening, maybe you can weigh in on any experience with any of the Iron Banner weapons you may or may not have gotten, or if you're looking forward to one. I just asked him. I got killed by the Reese Walker a few times in Iron Banner this morning.
I just asked him if he got any. He hasn't responded yet, so I asked him that. So.
Oh, you did? Okay. Can we move on to the next topic, which is probably the most important thing we're going to talk about this podcast, and that's the Vault of Glass is live at 1 p.m. today. World's first run. Hour. Yeah.
12 p.m. Central.
It's within an hour.
Yeah.
So, is anybody jumping in today?
No.
No.
Well, jumping in, watching.
Is anybody going to jump in and watch? Yeah. Take a look. See.
Peek into a stream here and there.
Yeah, I heard that Broman is hosting, like probably at the Bungie stream, and I imagine they'll be.
I thought he was just doing his own thing.
No.
Is it official?
Yeah.
No, I think it's official.
It's official. He's hosting.
He hosted before, but it wasn't official through Bungie. It was his own. He was just hosting.
I think this is official.
I don't know
because he's not in a team.
Bungie, but Bungie was definitely
he wasn't in a team last time. He just
No, I think this is official. Is my impression based on the
and
twab.
There's another person he's doing it with. I know it's Rec with some numbers after it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So not anybody. But it is. It does. It looks very formal. He posted something on Instagram. And it looks like it's like a very official live streaming.
And they'll probably be jumping around to different leading streams, right? I would imagine.
Sorry, cat.
They might even
Richard's going to be watching Clan Redeem.
Clan Redeem.
Yeah. Like
what about math class?
Like that. I'll start with I'll start with the Broman just to see kind of how he's going to be handling all the different ones. Or do I just want to watch one particular team and root for them?
We're rooting for Dado at our house.
I'm
sure you could find at least 7 separate screens to stream on.
It's such an interesting one. They're doing this. I kind of like the way they. I like the way they did it. They tried to figure out a way to say, "Hey, we're bringing back an old raid." But
in a new way,
throwing out some new challenges. So they're putting out those
wipe challenges. That should be fun.
Contest mode, but so you have to do it. You have to finish it, and then go back in. You have to go back in with that curated set of triumphs and challenges.
Did anyone see the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and if you don't meet that challenge, you wipe. Right? If you don't meet the challenge at a counter, you just get sent back to orbit. So you have to start all over again.
Sucks.
So
I don't like that.
It kind of does. Hence why we don't do that. But it's going to be fun to watch, and I'm also looking forward to. So I don't know if we've talked about this in the past, but which weapons we're all excited to see a return of.
Ooh.
Well, they've already announced they're only bringing back 3. Is that correct?
That's not true.
That's not true. That's misinformation.
I think they're bringing them all
except
there are 2 primaries, there are 2 specials, and there are 2 heavies.
6.
6 in total.
6. So I was half wrong. Fatebringer's coming back. I know that.
Fatebringer and Vision of Confluence are the primaries.
VOC.
Yeah, put them up.
The VOC. We have a picture of, what is that, Fatebringer?
That's Fatebringer.
Yeah, that's a nice looking little gun. Nice gold color. I like it. Fatebringer was my favorite hand cannon in D1.
Yeah.
Hands down. Especially taking it into the Crota raid. You just pop one of those Thrall and they all go up. So much fun.
It'll be interesting how they feel because
And we
some of the other new weapons, like what everybody was really excited for Hung Jury to come out, and then when people started using it, they were like, eh.
Sally Bug, what's this weapon? Looks like a fusion.
That's my baby. Oh my god!
that's
I must
VOC?
have used that gun once I got it. That must have been my gun for like 80% of my gameplay, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hope it feels as good as it did with my first. Like
Probably
the only time
not.
I didn't have that hand cannon on is if I had
Hand
my gun
cannon.
on. I mean, scout rifle.
Scout Rifle.
The only time I didn't have Vision of Confluence on, I had Mida on. But it was one
Yeah.
or the other.
Yeah.
So I hope it feels good.
But you like
I
the
hope it's
Trustee,
as
don't
good.
you? You like Trustee nowadays, right?
I like Trustee, but we'll see.
No
we'll,
buts
we'll
about
have to
it.
compare it. I wonder if it'll still be solar, like it'll be solar like the Trustee, or if it'll be different. We'll have to see.
Sally Bug, can I move to the next slide? It's got like some pants of some sort.
Yes.
Do you know whose pants they are?
They're the hunter pants.
Okay. Oh.
These hunter pants are all the rage.
These boots were made for walking, weren't they? These are the Star Eater scales, folks.
Unless, of course, you're trying to do worlds first.
You
can't walk into the multi-glass with them on.
These are disabled. Oh, you know what I heard this morning?
What's that?
And I thought it was a joke. I thought it was almost like Bungie just being funny, as they said they discovered a bug where players could push bosses over the ledge. So
I was going to bring that up earlier.
Yeah, and it's not a joke. There's something that you can do. Yeah. A warlock, I think, can actually push bosses over ledges. And so they said if you do that, you're disqualified.
A couple days ago, I said that to Daniel or Green Sego. I was like,
yeah,
wouldn't it be funny if you could still push Atheon off the edge?
And it turns out you can.
for those, I mean, we don't know which boss, but for those of you who never played, those 5 of you that are listening who don't know that was a huge thing.
Yeah, Richard's kind of young to remember that.
The original cheese of Destiny 1.
Patched it. I'm not sure I ever played it before the patch went in.
No,
I'm not sure I ever played Vision of Confluence.
I know we did.
Sorry, my cat.
Oh.
I'm not sure we ever played Vault of Glass when I think it already had been patched by the time we dipped in.
Dip. All right.
So Star Eater scales are supposedly amazing, but they're also supposedly broken. So they have been disabled.
Yes. Starting at the daily reset today, they will be turned off and will be re-enabled with a hot fix once World's First has been crowned.
Right.
But nobody will be able to use them today.
Hot fix.
Right. Yeah, because it's going to be in the hot fix that's coming out on the 25th. It'll be part of the hot fix on the 25th.
Hot fix.
I think when the raid finishes.
Yeah, when the raid clears, then they're
going to launch something once the raid clears, likely.
Because there isn't really they're broken for PvE, but there's really only like 2 kinds of like high-end PvE things, and that's the World's First Raid and the Grandmaster. So they're just turning it off for World's First. And
so they'll allow people to use them for the Grandmaster. Yeah, that's another thing. It's like I'm not quite ready to like go in and try to get all of those exotics. Yeah. I'm saving a lot of stuff for the summer.
Green Stego, can I get another hot fix?
Hot fix.
Nice, thank you.
Coming at you hot.
We did talk a little bit about the exotics and the catalyst. We talked about getting the Deathbringer catalyst, but there's some other new catalysts that have been dropping as well, right?
Deathbringer. I love that gun, and I can't wait to get my catalyst. Woohoo! It's gonna be fun.
What other ones?
Yeah, what other ones are you talking about? There's no other catalyst.
There were some
maybe Sleeper
there
Stimulant, maybe. I think I got that recently.
Sleeper Simulant?
Simulant Sleeper. Sleeper Simulant. Sleeper Simulant.
Yeah.
I think I got that catalyst recently. But I think the season of the Splicer is all about the Deathbringer catalyst and taking advantage of that. Because they put a lot of rocket launcher stuff in the artifact mods as well. I noticed. Oh, is that my phone? Anyway.
Might be.
Is there any trace rifle mods you wanted to talk about, Sally Bug? Hello?
Any mods I want to talk about?
Trace rifle.
You're the one who brought it up.
There are a bunch of trace rifle mods.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
And I did watch a video of one content creator using, I think it was Ruinous Effigy in the Crucible with all the new mods on.
Nice.
And pretty much wrecking. It was probably a high, would wreck anyway, but
what's the solar one called again? The
Prometheus
lens.
Aren't there a couple of solar ones?
Trace rifles?
Trace rifles?
No, I think it's just Prometheus lens. That could probably be interesting.
There are 2 voids, the Ruinous Effigy and the Wave Splitter.
Yeah.
There are 2 arcs, the Divinity and the what's it called? Cold Snap.
So it will be interesting to see if, like, for instance, using those mods when you're going to use Divinity as well. So I'm curious. Is this going to be the season of the season of the trace rifle with all these?
Oh, I will say,
mods
when we were going against Taniks, and Logan used that new grenade launcher mod with Anarchy.
Oh boy. Yeah, Divinity. You don't even need Divinity anymore.
Taniks.
Divinity might as well be out of the game.
Wait, I need to know about this.
Yeah, I think I might want to.
What's the mod?
I might want to be doing that.
Oh,
it's
on the seasonal artifact.
It's on the artifact.
It costs 9, right?
Yeah, it costs 9 energy on the.
Wow.
It's a grenade launcher
your
mod?
Class item. It is called Breach and Clear class item mod. Yeah. When using a grenade launcher, damaging a boss, damaging a champion, or breaking a combatant's shield, reloads your stowed weapons and causes the combatant to take increased damage for a short duration. That
nice. And Logan was doing 30%.
That? It's a 30%.
That sounds insane.
Bump.
Well, he did it with Anarchy, and we had a Divinity going. And
so
we just
he didn't have
melted.
to do that thing where you jump out of the bubble or the well.
No, Sundering Glare was last season. This one just blows Sundering Glare out of the water. Like I said, we 2-phased Taniks, which we had never done as a fire team before.
Sally, are you taking notes? Because we're going to.
I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be doing the raid later today, so I'm looking forward to it.
Hopefully. We'll see. Depends on whether I get the lawn done or not.
Those as planned.
Is anyone that far along on their artifact from those of us who are playing?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I hope Richard's got it unlocked.
Well, Sally's going to be grinding
we could call in a ringer.
I do not
wait, Richard
have
is doing it with us, right?
Yeah,
Richard has said that he was using it too. So Richard
so we're
Yeah, so
once again, Richard saves our lives.
Richard to the rescue.
Once again.
I'm pretty sure we always struggle with getting through a raid without him anyway, so.
I'll tell you what, though. You know what's interesting about those trace rifle mods is you can use them in crossplay soon. I think we're getting crossplay next season. Is that correct?
Yes, but there's a beta coming up next week, in the middle of the week, next week. And it's just going to be in the Strike playlist. And my guess is it's going to be like a separate playlist.
Mm-hmm. Because
you can't go in with a fire team. You can only go solo because they're just testing out
Right, they're hand-picking the combos, right? Probably, that's what it is.
I don't know if they're I don't know if they're hand-picking the combos or if they're just like saying, okay, you're going to go in here, and that's open to anybody who's playing Destiny 2 in your area at this moment, and then just like randomly throwing them together and seeing how it works and seeing, if there's any bugs and what's going on. So
sounds like you know exactly how it works.
I don't know, Destiny. I'm assuming Bungie is going to try to figure it out, but it's a cool emblem. I'm liking it. I like the little flower on the side. I like the colors. So I'm going to do it to get that emblem.
That is a hot emblem.
It's pretty. I like it. You have to complete 3 strikes in that playlist to get that emblem. So
easy peasy.
Yep. And you can just get your, so it'll be fun. I'm definitely going to do it.
So that starts May 25th, the crossplay beta, and goes through the 27th.
25th through the 27th. So that's 3 days. Just do a strike a day in that playlist.
That reminds me, something else is happening on the 25th. Isn't it? Hotfix.
Is someone's birthday?
Hotfix.
Hotfix.
I think it's a hotfix for the Presage and Splicer bounties. They're fixing the pinnacle issue with Presage and
with the Splicer bounties, because you were supposed to be able to get a piece of pinnacle gear by completing 8 or 9 bounties. I forget exactly how many, and it's not. It's only dropping a powerful piece of gear. So they're going to fix that.
I don't know what the bounties thing is though.
Well, you know what the Splicer bounties are.
Yeah. If
you go up to the servitor and you pick up those bounties, if you look at it, there's it says it'll drop a pinnacle piece of gear if you complete a certain number of those. But right now that's bugged. And you only get a piece of powerful gear, you don't get a piece of pinnacle gear.
Okay, so sounds like they'll fix that.
I think there's
a
couple of other there's like some visual stuff that's also getting fixed, but the pinnacle issue with the Presage and the Splicer bounties is the big one, because people are still in the they're still trying to get up their power. So having 2 arenas where you could possibly get pinnacles and them not being there, it was a little frustrating. So for those who try to do all their pinnacle missions every week anyway.
And I can't remember.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is the pinnacles are attached to the 10 score that we get per season?
Like we're trying to go from 1310 to 1320.
Yes.
Yes.
So wouldn't it make sense, since we're dramatically lowering the power requirement, so that you have you can spread it out more this season?
Yeah, because now I'm already at the power cap. Like I struggle with the pinnacle, and I even struggle to get to the part. I didn't get to 1300 until the very end of the season, and now I'm already there.
Yeah,
so
I started this season at 1309, so I got to 1310 almost immediately. But the grind to get up, it's very slow, and I don't know.
They've made it take more experience.
And I don't know if any of these pinnacle.
Oh, for the season rank.
Yeah.
You're talking about. Are you talking about the season rank or for the power? I guess I got a little lost.
I think
both.
We're talking about 2 different things.
Yeah, now we're talking about 2 different things.
I know got nerfed, but again,
it didn't really get nerfed.
It makes sense because I got to rank 100 really early last season. It just was ridiculous.
If you read they put out a kind of a FYI article saying that it's not that it got nerfed, it's just that it was bugged, and they found the bug halfway through the season, and they decided not to fix it. And then they did fix it, but they didn't tell anybody, there was a bug that gave you extra XP last season that we've now fixed.
Yeah, it was a communication error.
Right. So now everybody was thinking, they nerfed how much XP you get. And they've got a nice, like, if you go to the Bungie.net page, they have a nice grid that just kind of gives you the expectations of how much XP to get for everything. And that's fine too. I like having something to work towards. So it was fun to get to 100 pretty quickly.
I was like, wow.
Last season, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Richard is listening to us. Richard, what level are you on the season pass? Wait and hear what he says.
While we're waiting for
what his power level is as well.
While we're waiting for Richard
nice
to respond, I believe this hotfix also covers the energy accelerant situation with
Telesto.
That turned out to be a problem with Telesto. And also the bug where
it broke Telesto again.
You get progress on cryesthesia with the catalyst with energy weapon kills, and you weren't supposed to. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're
you actually couldn't use cryesthesia. You'd have to use your energy weapon.
Yeah.
To get progress.
So if you're interested in getting, but I think the energy accelerant. I was saying if you're interested in getting that cryesthesia catalyst done faster, do it before they do this fix. But I think the energy accelerant.
Yeah, because it's easier.
Yeah, it's easier
because you can get it with energy weapons.
You can just use any energy weapon.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the energy accelerant mod has been. They locked it until they were able to put this.
So
fix
it's disabled.
In, so.
It's disabled.
I think it's disabled, but I'm not sure for.
It is.
It's disabled.
It is. It's disabled.
Yeah.
I'm disabled.
Let's see.
Okay, and then that's pretty much the TWAB, and the only other thing that I thought before we get to our special segments is somewhere over the last 2 weeks. I think it was right before the first TWAB, that 513 TWAB, was there was a movement in Twitter that was hashtag Nerf Stasis, and a lot of community members feeding into and just, again, kind of calling out to Bungie to do something about PvP and the state of PvP right now. And Bungie still is being pretty quiet over on the topic. There's a I don't know, we talked about this, I think, the last time we are at our last podcast, and I'm not a PvP person, but I feel like they need their voices heard, and it is stale, and I don't know about stasis. The way I feel about it in stasis is, look, stasis has been around long enough for those who are really, really good at PvP to have been able to figure out a way to counter it by now. And if they haven't, then it may be a time to look at it again and say, hey, you need to put something in here where people who are really good at Crucible have a viable way to counter it. And whether that means nerfing stasis or buffing everything else, they definitely need to address it. And they also need to communicate on kind of what they're feeling about.
I think they need to give clear timelines, because I think that I have the hunch that their plan is to wait to see what happens when they do another subclass overhaul with Witch Queen. But I think they just need to come out and say that.
Right. If that's what they're waiting for, they need to say that that's what they're waiting for, because and I know maybe the silence is kind of deafening, right? And it's like keeping it quiet because you're afraid, like maybe they're afraid, like if they say something that we really don't have any intention on doing anything with this PvP situation until Witch Queen comes out, and that's not until 2022. Could be not the news that they want to hear, but not hearing anything is also extremely frustrating for that population. And I just feel like that something needs to be said. Communicate a little bit with them. Give them a timeline.
Just give them a new map.
Give them what you're thinking. Bring back a map from D1. Astacross put out a great video, like just listing all the D1 maps that I think there was
probably
only
easier
one
said
that
than
he
done.
said no, that one could just go away and never come back. But all the others, like he had like viable reasons why, like how great it would be and how fun it would bring some life.
I think we already went over this last pod.
Yeah.
It would bring some life into it. So I don't know. Hopefully Bungie will address it sooner than later. I just felt like as a Destiny podcast, we shouldn't let that go, that we should still
Well, I feel like we already addressed it, and now that we've addressed it twice, we've over-addressed it, and I'd like to formally revoke
move on
addressing it.
Yeah.
I do want to say before we move on to our coffee thing, I've shared this opinion. I'm going to share it again, that I think that Bungie as a company, a gaming industry titan, has communicated too much, and been like, I think that
they set
now,
the expectation too high.
Yeah,
they set the expectation too high for how quickly they're going to communicate, how transparent they're going to be, and how willing they are to bend backwards and fix things based on community response.
I think that is a good point to make, that it is not normal for developers to be able to like see a hashtag trending and then immediately be able to issue a response and say, okay, this is what we're doing. It's not the only reason why we are even having this conversation about why isn't Bungie saying anything is because they are so communicative with us, with the player base.
That combined with the fact that not a lot has been done in PvP. Yeah,
that's one element, but I'm saying I have, from the little bit that I see from other games, even live services, they do not have this back and forth conversation with their community members.
Yeah, not at all.
So it's a little bit, and you like, most of us here are like, teachers or educators, and like, it's going to be a lot more orderly when it's basically just like, no, this is just the way that it is. This isn't like a back and forth where I'm just going to constantly be changing things,
right,
because of what you're complaining about. Like, this is just the way that it is.
There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to have that level of communication.
Yeah, that the 12-year-olds enjoying the game just like aren't, cognizant of
this ebb and flow with PvP and the community response and Destiny and Bungie has been going on since day one. It's just ebb and flow, and this will also resolve itself one way or another soon enough. I think it's time to relax, but also to reflect and enjoy a nice hot cup of caffeine. Anybody drinking any coffee? I had my coffee already, even before we started the podcast. I was up a little early today, so got my 2 cups of Java in, and I think it's the quality blend that we've been enjoying all week. Am I right, Sally Bug?
Yeah, that's right.
Local roasters?
Our local roasters. I think it's the
Ethiopian. No, it's not the Ethiopian. It's the Sumatra.
Mm-hmm. It's the French roast Sumatra with some
with a touch,
with a blend of a vanilla, cinnamon, hazelnut flavor.
It's very
whole
subtle.
bean coffee as well. So really good. Again, kind of like doing a nice mixture of.
I almost feel like it's smelling the vanilla thing, but tasting The Sumatra.
The coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, the Sumatra.
That's what it feels like to me. Anyway.
I try other
Stop and
coffees
smell
and
the
I
vanilla.
always end up back at the the Sumatra because it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Stego?
What about over
what are
there?
You guys drinking
on the other side?
We brewed a hot, fresh pot of coffee this morning. Going through some of our, this morning it was espresso blend from the store, which we had purchased before our most recent gift, and we finally made our way through that the local roasters, and so we got a bit of a backlog of beans.
A backlog of beans. That's a first world problem.
Backlog beans to brew.
Nice.
But I've already had my first cup, and now I'm working on my my water intake.
I like it.
Yeah,
Romance Girl, have you had a cup yet?
Yeah, I had a hot cup this morning, and I'm now working on leftover iced coffee from our brew yesterday.
We have a question from one of our viewers. They ask, Romance Girl, do you put any kind of cream or anything else in your coffee, or do you drink it black?
I put a little bit of coconut creamer in my coffee.
Oh, coconut creamer. Yum.
Nobody asked.
The crowd is going wild.
Yeah,
that one fan.
I do feel like
Romance Girl has some
listeners of the
fans.
pod know this at this point, but hey, I'll say it again for the fans.
That one fan. The one fan.
Yeah.
We found a little bit of unsweetened coconut creamer, and I feel like it adds just a little bit of creaminess, but doesn't overpower the taste of the coffee.
There you go. So this week's coffee break has been brought to you by Eva Levante. In the tower for the past eon, drinking coffee. Did you guys know Eva Levante likes coffee? She says,
have heard
you have heard her
line.
say something about coffee, right? Oh,
yes.
Bring him a cup of coffee or something like that, she says. Or, I'm making another
Yeah.
pot of coffee. Do you want any? Something like that.
She never offered us coffee.
I wish she would.
I heard her say
I'd pay
once,
silver
I could
for
use
it.
a cup of coffee. I did hear her say that once. And it was in the lore once where she had mentioned like taking Zabala a cup of coffee.
Well, now that we've had our coffee break, do you know what it's time for?
Yes.
I bet you have a very good guess. It's time for A Touch of Grimoire. Sallybug?
Today I thought we would talk a little bit about what's going on with Lakshmi 2 and her feelings towards the situation with us welcoming the Lakshmi into our folds,
into our lives.
And she's vocal about it. She's not happy about it, and she's hesitant about it, and I think, and reluctant, and all of those things. For those of you who don't know, which probably anyone who's listening to this probably already do, but for those of you who don't know, Lakshmi 2 is the leader of the Future War Cult, the faction, and is a representative in the Consensus, which is the last city's governing body, that used to be led by the speaker. Like the speaker was like almost like the Speaker of the House, like the head of the Consensus. And when the speaker died, there was some lore. I can't remember exactly where it was from. It might have been from lore from a gun or an armor piece. But, oh my God, my cat. Sorry. She's going nuts out back here. Anyway, that's another story. But anyway, so she is the head of Future War Cult. She is on the council as a representative of the Future War Cult in the consensus. And she's given us a little bit of a piece of her mind on how she feels about letting the Elixni in. And one of the things that she is saying is that she has foreseen the future, and she feels like the Fallen are going to betray us. And she uses her she uses the fact that she predicted the Red War as a reason why we should be listening to her. Any thoughts on that so far amongst you?
I mean, I can totally see why she would be of that stance. That's on brand for the Future War Cult to say that we are at war with everyone.
Right.
There are no allies to be found.
So, and I guess I should have pointed out, and I did, which I didn't, was that she's able to foresee the future because they got the hands on the tech to make a device that can see into the future. But what is not said, and what she doesn't say, is that this device gives many different renditions of the same future. And it seems like she's kind of just picking and choosing which one meets her narrative. And the one that I will, the first lore that kind of like shows this is the lore from the gun, the stochastic variable, which is one of the Future War Cult guns that has come back this season. And in that one, Sega, do you want to read it?
Yes, I do. Okay. However certain we are of our simulations, they always contain an element of unpredictability. Lakshmi 2. Lakshmi 2. Faction head. Exo. Politician. 1. The Elixni Quarter. Screaming. A crackling portal. Treachery. Fallen attack. We're being overrun. Where are the Guardians? 2. The Last City. The tower in ruins. Fallen scavengers sift the rubble. 3. The Last City. Radioactive dust. Dark growths in the ruins. Where is the Traveler? Mutated ghosts. 4. The Elixni Quarter. A crackling portal. Asher speaks. Fallen being attacked. Dead orbit overhead. Saint 14 besieged. FWC surrenders. 5. The Elixni Quarter. The Endless Night. A crackling portal. Mithrax firing wildly. The cult flees. Ikora triumphant. 6. The Elixni Quarter. A crackling portal. Snipers fire down. Blood runs in the gutter. An ether tank explodes. The Endless Night. Asher speaks. Those FWC traitors. 7. The Batsa Ruins. A crackling portal. Fallen flee. FWC banners. Zavala is gone. Mithrax on trial. Lakshmi 2 looks over the crowd. Lakshmi 2. Head of State. Exo. Prophet. Savior.
So my interpretation of that lore is 7 different outcomes of a same scenario. And so she just kind of was looking at all of the different ones and then picking which one best fits her, not only best fits her narrative, but also the one that she most benefits from, and then tries to use that to garner support.
So you're not a fan of Lakshmi, it sounds like.
Cause. Well,
that was a very ungenerous interpretation.
That's my interpretation of that one.
And she's sticking to it.
Now,
I would say that she's picking the one that fits her worldview. Not necessarily.
You could say that, but if you look at that, like the fact that it says Lakshmi 2, head of state, exo, prophet, savior, it does seem like there's a little bit of this, like, desire to go up in ranks or like a power, trying to garner power.
Definitely does seem like she's behind a power play.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is another piece of lore that I would like Stego to read for us, and this is from the sidearm. I think it's a sidearm. The Vision. Take it away, Stego.
I better watch out. Bull's gonna come at them. Okay. The Vision. Glory in the damage the right blast can do. Director Lakshmi 2. Enough is enough. I know what you're using, and I'll be speaking with the Vanguard. The fact that you think you can interpret what has driven dozens to insanity doesn't give me a good deal of confidence in your decision-making abilities, and I can't keep my concerns internal any longer. We don't need another Sundaresh in the upper rank. I don't care if you saw the Red War before it happened. What would you say of the several other unfruitful predictions you conveniently ignore now? I have listened to your speeches and read your many messages calling for support. I understand you believe the future is at stake, and we are supposed to do something about that. Fear over the fallen is not the future this organization was meant to combat. Your paranoia won't change my mind. My children were harassed in the streets today for daring to bring food to the Elixni quarter. They came home in tears, and I wonder how long until it becomes worse. I won't be a part of spreading that fear. I won't participate in splitting this city and turning it against itself. I'm well aware of the dangers posed by fallen houses, but the city remains strong because we stand together. You're a student of history. You know how the Iron Lords converted warlords into dutiful servants of the light. Lord Shax alone should speak to the value of that effort. If a fallen house wants to stand with us against their own, just like the warlords of old, just like the Fallen in the Reef did, who are you to tell them no? Armies we can keep out. The Guardians will hold the wall. That danger is nowhere close to the death from within that you are stoking. If it all falls apart, just remember Mithrax didn't fire the first shot. You did. Consider this my resignation. Navarro.
Okay. Again, I feel like this as what kind of reiterates what I was saying before, in that she has this. I feel like there's a full-on prejudice going on here, and it's definitely, and if it stems from what these futures that she's seeing, but it feels like, again, she's picking and choosing these futures based on what's going to meet her own narrative. So, a little bit more, digging a little bit more and reading some other lore. There's one that says, I've moved to cease all data collections, but I've repeatedly been overridden by higher clearances. This is from Pleiades Corrector, by the way. I must again recommend we sever all connections and terminate any data collection sweeps. We're digging our own graves otherwise. Whatever executive still that has that uplink running, knock it off. You're playing with fire here. So this is someone in the R&D department kind of saying, hey, look, there's someone who's like data mining us, or who is getting access to our files and corrupting it. And then, and this is from the deicide, that shotgun we were talking about earlier. And this says, Ikora, I thought you'd want to see this. It presents as binary in our systems, but something is splicing hashes in. I pulled it from the Tower's Nexus ISO feed. It's all over future war cult networks and elsewhere. These are foreign elements to otherwise normal binary code. And it goes on, and then there's obviously a binary code there. And as far as I know, Anon Pig, he's well known in the Destiny lore community. He has his own podcast that he hosts called Loose Cannon. And he talks about this, and but he decoded that binary code, and it basically is Savathun's song. It is Savathun's song, and
like,
so
it's musical notes.
It's the musical notes of Savathun's song, and it's. You know, if you look at that lore, it's like
the same one that's being hummed by Crow and everything.
By Crow, yep. Yeah. And so it says here, it's like it's all over future war cults networks. And then, of course, from that other lore that I just read, where it says, I moved to cease all data collection because I've been overridden, sever communications. In other words, there's a good chance that the information that is being fed to future war cult and, of course, Lakshmi is being, like, she is being manipulated by none other.
She's corrupted.
Than our old friend Savathun. So I'm giving Lakshmi a little bit of an out here, in that this may not be her voice. She's being driven, and
her will is not her own.
Right? Her will is not her own. And if you remember, like, you know, part of the whole storyline with Cadel, like, she lost her, like, her top war council was also corrupted. So it's certainly not out of the realm of possibilities that this isn't just Lakshmi, but again, Savathun up to her old tricks. So just keep that in mind as the story unfolds. That's all I have to say about it. The plot
thickens a little bit here. Yeah.
Well, they do use Vex Tech to make those simulations to simulate the future. And we know that Savathun has a powerful Hydra mind taken.
Wow.
Yes.
That connects it right
good
there.
Point.
There's the connector.
Yeah, very good point. So, yeah, I mean, in all honesty, and again, it's just absolutely amazing story writing from the narrative team, of just how, like, everything just is just there. This may be one storyline going on, but the workings in the background are all still pointing back to Savathun, and it is going to be fun to see how this all culminates into the Witch Queen once we finally get that. But it's just great story. I'm loving it. Loving all of it. Love it.
Well, that is some great lore there, Sally Bug. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Stego, for the reading. And we are at T-minus 11 minutes to World's First starting. And so let's wrap up this episode with our final little segment, which usually we try to dovetail with the lore piece. It is now time for Destiny Soundcheck. And in today's Soundcheck, we feature another voice actor. None other than the voice of Lakshmi. this time round. And some call this woman the female Morgan Freeman. And certainly a distinctive voice, but also a great actress as well. I'm talking about Shohreh Aghdashloo, right? Shohreh Aghdashloo is an Iranian-American actress, and of course she got her start. She was born in Iran in 1952, and she got her start on the stage, which led to some film roles and a couple movies she made in Iran that won critics awards and even an award at the Moscow Film Festival. But those films were banned in her home country. In 1978, Aghdashloo won acclaim for her performance in Sute Delan, which translates as Brokenhearted, directed by Ali Hatami, which established her as one of Iran's leading actresses. She then moved to England during the Iranian Revolution in 1979, subsequently becoming a U.S. citizen. When she arrived in England, this is interesting, she earned a bachelor's degree in international relations because of her interest in politics after having left her home country, which ties in nicely with a role she's playing currently in The Expanse, and as Lakshmi, I might add, leader of the future war cult. After several years of playing some small film and television roles, her performance in House of Sand and Fog, 2003, which I'd really like to see this movie, brought her several Film Critics Awards and a nomination for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She's continued to play supporting and character roles in film and television, including a starring role as Christian if I get the pronunciation right, Avasarala in The Expanse. Yeah, Christian Avasarala. A great character. And she also won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a limited series or movie for her work in the HBO original House of Saddam. I believe she played Saddam Hussein's wife in that. She continues to work in films. The list is very long. Also in TV, she's voiced characters for video games in Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, Destiny, and of course Destiny 2. She's with us now in the season The Splicer as Lakshmi 2 again. She starred in some plays. She's still doing that. She's also an author now. She just put out a book. She's narrated some audiobooks with that amazing voice of hers. And her accomplishments are never ending. So why don't we give her a quick listen here? I'd like to play her latest, a bit of her latest dialogue.
Sultan, do we have a picture of her?
I believe we do. Let me see. Oh, yeah. There she is. I believe that's her role in The Expanse as
Just
Christian.
as we're listening to her voice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So here she is as Lakshmi telling us what's what.
When I foresaw the Red War, they laughed, until Gaul bound the traveler. This time, I will not whisper my warnings. I will not be polite. I look forward to working with you, Guardian. Together, we can protect our city from all who would wish it harm.
Yeah, she does sound like someone who's possessed, almost, or driven by a hidden hand, if you will. And I was also able to, of course, Sally Bug and I are big Expanse fans, but we haven't caught up on the most recent episodes. We need to do that, Sally Bug. But I found some snippets of her in her role as Christian Avasarala. Avasarala, yeah. I'll get it right one of these days. Christian Avasarala. Anyway, let's give a listen to her in this pivotal role.
With all due respect, madam, where are you going with this?
Wherever I goddamn like.
You're Christian Avasarala,
Yes,
the UN Deputy Undersecretary.
this is going to be very tedious if you remain this dim.
I don't understand. What the hell kind of a ship is this?
Right, the tedious version then.
You sure this isn't personal?
You're damn right it's personal.
When was the last time you left Earth?
None of your goddamn business. Sometimes I fucking hate being right.
She's awesome. Oh, definitely one of my favorites. Check her out in The Expanse if you have not yet. It's great sci-fi all around, and Shohreh is just amazing in it. So that wraps it up for episode 33 of the Paracasual Destiny podcast. We really appreciate Richard. Thanks for hopping in again, taking some time out of your day. We are coming up on the witching hour here of World's First for the Vault of Glass relaunch. We broadcast live on YouTube every other Saturday morning at 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. You can listen to us anytime in podcast form on the platform of your choice. Pretty much goes out to all of them. iTunes, Spotify, you name it. You can also follow us on Twitter. We do have a Twitter account at ParacasualP. And look us up, ask us questions, be our friend or not. That's fine too. So from me, Soul Time.
Before we sign off.
We're signing off. You don't get to say anything anymore.
I know you want to sign off, but I know that our fans.
We're signing
really
off. You don't get to say anything anymore.
The last time we signed off without saying what we were consuming outside of Destiny, we
got a backlash. Yeah, Twitter lit up like a Christmas
hate
tree.
Mail.
We did.
Our inboxes were overflowing.
Yeah.
The wood-burning
Okay.
stove is still going off those the paper from those hate mails.
All right.
So, obviously not much with us because we're very busy outside. But so when we do have some downtime and want to consume some media, we're just enjoying some reruns of Kitchen Nightmares on Samsung's free TV.
When you imagine all the quality movies and programming there is on all the other pay services that we have access to, we go to the 24/7 Kitchen Nightmares channel on Samsung's TV
say
Plus.
Sometimes I need to kill my brain cells. I'm what can I watch that will kill my brain cells?
And this certainly fits the
Stop
bill.
thinking.
This fits that bill perfectly.
And an occasional riff tracks.
Yes. Riff tracks, of course.
A good laugh.
Yeah. Trucker's Woman. That was great.
That was great.
Yeah, they called it a Hicksploitation film from mid-70s.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
All right. And
Stego and Romance Girl, what have you guys been up to media-wise outside of the Destiny world?
Oh, we watched the last season of Castlevania.
Mm-hmm.
Just the last season, or had you watched the seasons leading up to it?
They've been watching it all along, right?
Seasons.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And the last season recently launched.
Did it wrap up the storyline? Is it the last final season, or do you think it's going to continue?
It is the announced final season, though there are possibilities for spin-off stories in the same universe.
It's violent, is it not? Soul Time, one of your students was
one of my
saying.
students keeps telling me about. I basically seen it because she's told me everything, and I say no spoilers, and she continues telling me everything. So,
I highly recommend it just because it's animated, so you can't you just get all of those visuals, those mind-popping visuals that you just cannot believe someone drew this.
Yeah.
And made it come to life.
Right.
And that's great. But it gets violent. There can be some violent parts.
Yeah, it's gory to the point where I would say that I would not be surprised if someone thought that it would be inappropriate for someone of middle school age to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly
it does get violent.
It's like Akira.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Stylized violence.
Yes.
We also watched Adventure Time Distant Lands, the latest special that came out.
Yes, that was amazing.
That was amazing. And is great if you are an Adventure Time fan. And lately we've been watching some videos from one of our favorite YouTube personalities, goes by ProZD. Sungwon, the actual person, is playing video games with his friend and video editor, Jay. And that they have a lot of fun, and we have fun watching them have fun.
So it's a YouTube channel called ProZD Plays Games with Jay. It's a Let's Play channel.
Oh, okay. Let's Play. It sounds like fun.
They go through. They're doing some N64 games right now. Which is
are they funny, or is it more like
Kirby?
Or is it more just like
it's funny.
Informational?
It's funny.
It's funny. It's funny.
No, it's funny. It's just playing games with a friend and just talking, chatting.
Cool.
Yep.
Making jokes. Inappropriate jokes
good.
most of the time.
Inappropriate jokes.
All right, full time.
It sounds like they're going to cut into our market.
So
yeah.
I'm going to let you sign us off now.
All right. It is time to sign off. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and coming in and saying hi. Richard, we will see you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
I'm assuming we're done. Yes, Soul time.